This example illustrates how to use the started code for A3. The application, which is a CodeIgniter application, is called eStore. To see what it does, just start an IMI, create a browser, and point it to localhost eStore. As you can see, the starter code has some functionality for manipulating the products table, and we're now illustrating how you can actually add new entries to the products table. To get that to work, you're gonna need an image, and in this case I have actually downloaded one. So we just navigate to it, we just add it, and you click create, and you will see how now you actually have two baseball cards. The starter code also has the capability of editing an existing entry, as well as viewing all the details of an existing entry, and finally deleting an entry. The next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to import the code. The best way to work with CodeIgniter applications is through an IDE. Eclipse is already available in the provided IMI. You can use a different IDE if you want. So with Eclipse, to import the code, you just go to New and then PHP Project. Since this is an existing application, you click on Create Project from existing location, and you navigate to where the code base is. In our case, the application is installed in the default web browser directory, which is bar www HTML, and then the name of the CodeIgniter application, which is eStore. So once you have selected, just click OK, and then give a name to your project. For simplicity, I'm going to choose eStore, and at that point we can just click Finish, and the code base is going to be loaded into our Eclipse workspace. So you should see a new project in your workspace. If you click on it, there's going to be a bunch of directories. The one that we care about is really the application directory. Everything else is part of the CodeIgniter framework. So in the application directory, if you click on it, you're going to see that there is a directory for controllers, where we have one controller which is part of the sample code that we're calling store.php. There is also two models, one for representing what a product is, and a second model that we're calling product_model, that has code that interfaces with the database. Finally, the application also consists of a few views that generate the UI. They are all in a directory called products because they handle the products table. So obviously, to write your application, what you need to do is you need to create new controllers, models, and views. Next thing I'm going to show you is actually how to debug an application. For that, you're going to have to create a debug configuration. So after you open debug configurations, you're going to see a bunch of different possibilities. The one that we care about is a PHP web application. There is also a PHP CLI application. Those are for standalone applications. We don't care about those. So choose web application and then click on the new configuration link. You're going to have to give it a name. For simplicity, again, I'm choosing eStore. Then make sure that Xdebug is selected as the debugger. And we're going to have to, the debugger requires a PHP file. We're not actually going to be using this PHP file, but otherwise the debugger won't work. So just choose any PHP file within your CodeIgniter application. You can deselect, and suggest you do this, the break at the first line, because the debugger breaks at the first PHP line that gets loaded, which in this case is not actually your code, but is the framework. So we typically don't care about that. And then finally, the URLs that get auto-generated are not compatible with CodeIgniter, so deselect auto-generate, and you're going to have to modify the URL into something that is compatible with CodeIgniter, which in our case we can just leave the /eStore, which will land you in the landing page. So just click apply and then click debug. Now, strangely enough, the first time you do this, it's gonna fail because the IDE is trying to compile all the resources, and for whatever reason it gets into trouble with some of the JavaScript resources used by CodeIgniter. Don't worry, this is not a problem. Just go again into the bug configurations where you should see the configuration you created, and select it again and click debug. And this time around it will open up a browser. As you can see, it went to the landing page. If you look at the navigation bar, it actually added a few extra arguments there, and that's for debugging purposes. At that point, you can actually switch, if you want, to the debugging view, where you can actually see a debugging panel that will tell you that the debugger has started. At that point, we can actually set up breakpoints. So here I'm selecting our application, and for just choosing the eStore controller, you create a breakpoint in the traditional way in Eclipse. You right-click on a line, and then you select toggle breakpoint, and that sets a breakpoint. So the next time that that page is loaded, you will see that the browser, basically waits for the page to finish loading, and what really happens is that the debugger now has actually broke into the line that we're interested in debugging. And you can step through it line by line, and you can actually introspect the values of different variables, and pretty much all the debugging functionality that Eclipse provide is now available to you. We're just showing how we can step through it. And when you're done, it's a good idea to actually stop the debugger. And when you do that, the browser will actually show you that the debugger now is stopped.